Good morning and welcome. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Indiana lawmakers passed more than 200 laws this year. Most of them went into effect with the start of July. The new rules cover everything from education and the environment to taxes and speed limits to changes that could impact your business. One of them establishes a new Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation to support technology startups, create innovation districts, help with economic growth. You can find a list of the bills directly affecting businesses on the Indy Chamber website, so we'll link that to our newsletter. Here's what's coming up this week on Business Equity and Opportunities. Meet Indiana's SBA Small Business Person of the Year. Inside Hard Truth Distillery's Charred Truth Live Fire Cooking Competition. Tackling barriers for minorities CPAs. The ins and outs of copyrights to protect your brand. And our success story features broadcaster and performing arts critic Tom Alvarez. He shares his personal journey. We are getting started by introducing you to a father-son duo that saw a need in their community. They turned it into a new business opportunity that directly addresses issues of access and equity.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Getting started.
My name is Mohammed Mirzoug. I am the founder and president of Atlas Healthcare Transport LLC. We just started this business last year actually, and we are looking forward to offer our services to the community at large. Our idea, my son and I, Adam and I, always wanted to do something together, starting a business, but the core of the business needs to be a business with a purpose. So we were looking around. We both have a background in healthcare, and then we noticed there is a need for healthcare transportation in central Indiana. So we decided to explore that area, and then we did some research, and then I think there is a lot of our elderly community that they need personalized transportation. And our services is very personalized, so we offer transportation with respect, dignity, and to make sure we treat them as family. This business is actually a multi-billion-dollar business, Medicaid and Medicare. So we work closely with brokers in Indiana, and they get a contract from the government. So we are providers, so we work closely with them, and they offer us all these jobs. But I think since we are the face of the brokers, we have to do a good job, an outstanding job, to make sure the patient or clients call us, and then we also want to build a good relationship with them so they can trust us. I've been in the healthcare industry for quite some time now, over 20 years. I did medical translation as a freelance. I worked with hospital systems overseas and here also. And helping with the language barrier opened the eyes for me to really see the need that people not only need the language, they also need transportation, because sometimes they wait for hours for someone to come and pick them up. So these trigger that we need to actually have our own freedom to really provide a good service to the community and give back. I am in a non-profit. My background is non-profit education. I like to help and give back to the communities. And what is a better way to, do good and then do well at the same time? Have a business like that and to give back to the community and help our different age groups. Also, they need help. Not only the elderly. And if the loved ones are busy working, they can rely on us and give us a call, and then we can deal with them directly to help them out, so they don't have to go out of their busy days and schedule. So we can do that. We can actually be part of the family and then fill in the gap. Adam, my son, he's 23 years old now. He graduated from Purdue University, and he's always in the entrepreneurship. He wants to do his own business. And then we were discussing one day, and he said, okay, we can work together with my background and his education also. And he also worked as a patient care technician at St. Vincent Hospital for 3 years. And then I remember when he started, I told him, I don't think so you're gonna last one day at St. Vincent Hospital, because he has to handle patients, he has to bathe them and clean them and do all these things, take the vitals. I said, youngster like you, 18, 19 years old, I don't think so you guys like this kind of jobs. So he proved me wrong. And I was very proud of him. I said he likes it, he enjoyed it, and he stayed there for 3 years. So this is how the idea, so I know I can trust him that he can do a good job and keep up that quality that he gave, because we have so many testimonies from patients, from their loved one. They wrote him letters, and they were very, very pleased with his workmanship, and he's really paying attention to details. So, and then we said, actually, the healthcare area, it's something that we can do because we know how, and we are compassionate about it. So we want to help. So, and we decided, and then we did some research and looked around, and then we said, this is actually something that we really want to do and help and enjoy at the same time. That is good. You know, starting a business is not easy, right? Especially for small business owners like us, family business. So the process is long, but you have to be patient, and you know that at the end, you're gonna be really happy with it, right? So for us, it's just a matter of time to work together with my son. It's to tell people that this is a family thing, right? It's a family business. It's not like only transactional. It's more personal. And then for us, we always have this personal relationship. We build relationship. We talk to people. We ask them questions, right? During that 30 minutes, we want them to be very happy and pleased. Ride takes 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but we want to make sure we ask for feedback always. How can we improve? How can we do better? And working with my son, I cannot ask for better than this. It's nice. It's just beautiful. We complete each other. You know, you always learn from your kids, you know, when you're a certain age. So we learn from each other. We exchange ideas and feedback and see how we can improve it and do better.
You can find more information about Atlas Health Transport on our website. It's beoshow.com. Up next, we meet this year's SBA Indiana Small Business Person of the Year. Welcome back. Sam Yadev is the owner of Quest Safety Products. He took advantage of SBA-backed loans to grow his business and built his new headquarters in a hub zone near the airport, gained hub zone certification, and increased sales, he says, by more than 300%. He is this year's SBA Indiana Small Business Person of the Year.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
I'm Sam Yadev, CEO and President of Quest Safety Products. We're on the west side of town, right next to the old Indianapolis Airport. So we started 28 years ago this week, and our goal is to help protect workers in any environment. The unique part of our business is that the three industries that we do extremely well in is in life sciences, pharmaceutical manufacturing, medical device, utilities, and renewable energy, solar panels, wind power. Those are the three markets that we do extremely well in because they're dealing with hazards that are different than the everyday hazards that we experience. You know, it's always a long journey when you find out, here's the business I want. I always wanted to be a business owner. I'm originally from a rural part of India along the Ganges River. I was very fortunate that my parents wanted to come to America and they were able to. So I came here when I was 6 years old. And the goal had always been for me to look at business. I wasn't as smart as some of those Indian doctors that you see, but I had a lot of drive and commitment to a purpose that I wanted to build a company that brought value to our family, to our employees, and obviously to our customers. I went into a business that did distribution of environmental remediation supplies. It was small, it was struggling, and I went in to see if I could turn it around. After a few years, when we started growing it, what we learned was that if we provided unique services, very focused technical expertise, we could do well. The previous owners didn't want to continue with the business. It was a lot more intense. And so I brought the idea to Vanita, my wife, who is our CFO now, and said, let's take a look at these numbers, and is this something we can do? And I thought in the back of my mind, is this the business that I've been looking for? Because it is really tough to come up with ideas for a business. So I said, maybe this one I can transform into what I want. Vanita being very practical, myself being very visionary, she said, there's not enough in here. I don't know if we'll even break even with the ideas that you have. And as she will tell you, sometimes I'm stubborn. And I said, I think I know what to do here. If you'd be willing to support me, I think we can build a really nice business. And so I was looking at building a business, maybe 10, 15 employees, servicing the environmental remediation contractors with more expertise and technical support. What we came to find out is the skill sets that we had were also applicable to utilities and life science. So our first customer was Citizens Energy. We actually went into the sewer facility and sold them respirators and gloves. They're still a customer today, which is amazing. One of the things that we came to learn through our customers was that there are communities that are underserved. They have an average income 40% less than the rest of the area around them. And what would help them is if a business would come in that's well-financed, has a proven track record, has a set of customers that can grow, hire 35% of the employees from that area, train them, and give them opportunities to build a strong financial future. If we did that, we'd be able to grow that area's economic value. The SBA will actually help you put that plan together, and they call it the SBA Hub Zone program. We built the program, got qualified, and our customers who had come to us originally loved the idea that a successful business moved into a hub zone, helped the underserved community, and was providing them excellent service and had the financial strength to grow as they continue to grow. That has exploded our growth 300% in just 5 years. So that is an area that Hub Zone, I think, builds this mission inside of an organization, and we as a company now feel we bring back more value to our community as we save people and protect them in any work environment they're in. What I love about that, it validates for all of us, not just myself and Vanita, our executive team, for all the employees here. The vision that we've been working on has real value, it has real meaning, and we are making an impact in our community. And at the end of the day, if we can do that, we've become something that people want to be with, want to align with, and work with. So one of the things that I was talking about actually early this morning, we are a really good products and service company. We have done a wonderful job of building a supply chain that is consistent. It's on time. Our customer promises the right product, the right quantity, at the right time. To be able to take that to the next level is to build that experience to where we do that in a way that the customer doesn't need to focus on it. They would have trust, they would have all information they need, and they can build on the platform we bring into their organization so they can focus on their core business. That's the experience that we need to work on. That experience, I think, will take us from where we are, a medium-sized company, approaching 50 million in revenue, and take us up to the $100 million in revenue that our whole entire executive team is committed to growing us to.
Coming up, meet the visionary for the She Got Now Empowerment Awards, honoring WNBA legends, leaders, and more during one of the biggest weekends in women's basketball.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Tamika Holyfield's been helping and empowering people for close to 30 years. We first met her in January of 2024 during the NBA All-Star Weekend. She's back in Indianapolis this month for the inaugural She Got Now Empowerment Awards Luncheon happening during the biggest weekend in women's basketball.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Hi, I'm Tamika Holyfield. So excited to be here, CEO of HAG Health Agency Group, and we are responsible for kicking off WNBA All-Star Weekend. We've kicked off NBA All-Star Weekend for the last 18 years. We were here with you all in 2024, and now 25. She's got now empowerment luncheon, honoring the women who have now in the WNBA. The main mission is to highlight women who are surviving insurmountable circumstances, what was considered a male-dominated field, and now the women are emerging. They're not only the WNBA players, the WNBA legends, they are now the WNBA owners. Talk about where we've come. And so it was important to celebrate that, to show a different side. What we're going to do on Thursday is show another side of these players. We call it business and basketball, because these ladies are doing way more than basketball. They're doing business. I'm expecting everybody to leave different that came. I'm expecting, this is a movement. This is our inaugural event. This is a movement to show what it takes to build. These ladies are taking lemons and making lemonade. They are inspiring little girls all over the world. They're inspiring women who thought, hey, I might need a second chance or reinvent myself or repivot. They are inspiring men. Whoa, for the men that didn't know that women had it in them. They are across the line changing the perspective of what it is for a woman to be in sports. And that's why it's an empowerment luncheon. They have empowered me. I've been a CEO for 18 years and they're still empowering me because they're getting the bag, they're getting the contract, and then they're getting the endorsement, and then they're getting the partnerships. They're very laser focused, and that's why I'm excited to honor each of them so people can see them in a different perspective. And Indiana is known for having these platforms of incredible sports events, and so this is no different. We're storytellers, and so this is a great way to kick off and have a platform to be storytellers. When I say we're not going back, it's nothing political. It's just as a woman, in general, we're not going back to being suppressed and our stories are not being told. We're not going back to not dreaming again of what we can do, be, and have. We are going forward. That's why I say she's got now. She doesn't have next, she doesn't have yesterday, and she doesn't have tomorrow. These ladies have now. And so what I want people to take from this long after this is over and build this movement is that there's a platform that takes place every Thursday, kicking off NBA All-Star Weekend, where as a woman, we're going to tell your story of how you survived, how you pivoted, how did you become the game changer. And isn't it so apropos that we're in Arts Garden when it's a room full of ceiling glass for all these ceiling glass breakers? But when they leave, the ceiling is no longer going to be the limit. We have broken those. I mean, the data is there. This year alone, $100 million is sold in merchandise during the WNBA. When 2005, when we get to December 31st, the WNBA will have collected $1 billion. Now that's a B. $1 billion, and it shows you that people are liking this. They're liking women in sports. They're liking to see the tenacity. And so this empowerment luncheon is just highlighting the business side of women. What did it take to think I can be an owner or a part owner of a WNBA? I mean, you have to be thinking out the box. And I liken them to even me as a CEO. I had to think out the box to even create something like this. To be honest, this has been 3 years in the making. And I thought, should I skip again? And then the title just played to me, Tamika, it's now. She has now. She's got now. Now is the time to go for your dreams. Now is the time to send an email again. Now is the time to reinvent your thoughts, your processes. And I hope that not just women, but across industry line, whether you are in a cubicle in a company that you don't think that you can evolve, you have now. Whether you are in Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru and you're going and you have a dream, you have now. Whatever industry you're in, you have now to make a change. And these ladies that we're honoring are going to inspire us that if they can do it, we can do it too. We're excited because we have this thing called we are not waiting to be invited to the table. We are curating our own tables. So we have business people who are partnering with us with sponsor tables, and we're going to say their name. So these are companies. We have some individual tickets so that they can come in for the business owner who wants to network, who wants to ask a question that they would never be around these people and be able to ask. The first part of the hour is reception and networking, because that's what we do, sister to sister. We help each other, we applaud each other. And then the next is going to be these incredible, I wish I could tell you who it is, but you can kind of get a feel. Imagine these stories we're going to tell on the jumbo screen, stories that you don't see on the court. And so this is so incredible for the person who's going to see some of this footage or enjoy it. I'm excited myself to hear the stories, to network. This is so beyond one person. This is a movement that transcends. It's a movement to tell women that you have the power, that we see you, we appreciate you, and we honor you, and we're clapping for you. And we're kicking off WNBA All-Star Weekend like never before. I've been not only waiting, I dream about it, I can't sleep at night. It's nothing like a storyteller of a woman telling another woman's story, because that's how we are inspired. That's why I say tell your story, good and bad. Tell the fires you've been through, because your tears are now going to be water for me. Right? And it's something about women when we connect and come together. And so that's why it's empowerment luncheon, because we're empowering the next person. And I'm so excited. This is something, I think this was just my calling. This will be part of my legacy. I really feel it. That my whole life I've been the #1 cheerleader to women, and now I get to kick off WNBA All-Star Weekend telling stories of legends. And you're not going to be the same once you come. You're not leaving the same of how you came. I can tell you that.
You'll find more information about the event and who will be honored this year on our website. Follow the QR code to get there quickly, or type in beoshow.com if you want something to do. CPA job pool is facing a shrinking pipeline for minorities who are facing very specific barriers. We'll explore those issues next.
This Week in Business is made possible by Indie Biz Pass. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. The Indiana Society of CPAs is working to increase the minority talent pipeline and eliminate some of the barriers to expanding employment opportunities. CPA Zanae Savage is the Chief Finance and Administrative Officer for the Indy Chamber. She explains.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Economic development is normally categorized as the creation of jobs, businesses, getting people to work, but really at its core, it's creating opportunity for folks. It's not just about opportunity, it's about sustainability and growth. As a CPA, we're trained to think about systems, how money flows, the impact of that, all of these things. And so when we think about economic development or workforce development, we also can't ignore some of the systemic disparities that do exist in our communities today. In Central Indiana, Black and brown businesses are one of the fastest growing population of businesses. Nationally, however, we know that while population of Black people is about 13 to 15%, businesses only make up about 3%. And the numbers for Latino businesses are about the same. We also know that these same disparities exist when it comes to leadership positions within different organizations. For example, only 2% of CPAs are Black. Even less than that are Latino or of the indigenous population. Meanwhile, the overall pipeline into the profession is also shrinking. Whether it's due to the cost of the exam, the complexity of the exam, we're seeing certain barriers that are preventing Black and brown and non-traditional students from even wanting to enter into the workforce. So when we think about workforce development, economic development, we have to think of ways to break down some of these disparities. For example, with the Indiana CPA Society, they've worked really hard to address some of the policies. So within the next year, we'll see an increased number of pathways into the profession that still protects the integrity of the profession, but removes some of the barriers that exist in order for folks to become CPAs. These types of shifts and changes to systemic issues aren't about lowering the bar. They are about creating access and opportunity for all people. In order for our entire economy to thrive, that means all of us have to thrive, and that means creating space, opportunity, and access for all leaders and all businesses. So, inclusion doesn't happen by accident, it happens by being intentional. And with that, one thing I always like to do is challenge organizations to figure out ways to address some of the systemic barriers that currently exist. And if you're just one person, don't think that you can't affect change. Partner with other organizations or people that can really move the needle forward. Let's make sure businesses and leaders of tomorrow are not impacted by systems of yesterday, because our profession and our economy depends on it.
Protecting your intellectual property rights can be a critical way to protect your overall business. So up next, what you need to know about copyrights.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome again. Legal issues can certainly be a daunting, even scary part of running a business. Angela B. Freeman returns this week with more tips for intellectual property protection. Today, specifically looking at copyright.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
All right, so I'm Angela Freeman. I'm a partner and IP and patent attorney at Barnes & Thornburg. And today, I'm here to talk to you about copyright protection. So last time you may have checked me out, we were talking about trademarks, which is one form of IP protection. Today, we're going to talk about copyrights. Copyrights are important because they protect the intangible works of expression. So this is for the creatives, your music, your poems, your drawings, your art, all that stuff. This is the type of IP protection that protects those type of assets. And what's particularly important about copyright, it is one of the easiest and least expensive forms of IP protection to obtain to get federal registration, but it's also one of the longest protections. So typically, copyright protection lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years. So you have rights in whatever kind of creative work that you create well beyond your lifetime, and that's extremely important. For things like photos, that's become a big deal. Art is a big deal. Particularly, copyright protection is important when you're talking about a business's advertising and marketing campaigns. Often how you deliver, how you devise your marketing and advertising campaigns are often protected by copyright. That's important. Just your creative works, if you're a creative, is very important. And again, this requires federal protection. So this is something where you would submit a copyright application. You have to submit a couple specimens of the work that is going to be protected. And then the Copyright Office will make sure that the work is aligned with the law to make sure that it is eligible to be protected. And then you've got copyright protection on that. One important thing to appreciate is copyright protection is basic when that work is created. So you immediately have copyright protection. The issue is that in order to enforce that protection, you have to have that work registered. So that's why registration of any kind of expressive work is important, because in order to prevent other people from infringing, you have to have registration in order to enforce that protection or to protect from any infringement. So that's what's important. Additionally, I already mentioned it's fairly inexpensive. The last thing I would say about copyright that I think is particularly important is that copyrights are, again, they're an IP asset. They can be monetized. So if you see a picture or a photo that you want to use, that's something that you need to get permission to do that, and often can sell to people for, nominal fees or whatever amount of fees, and continue to get revenue for your business. So that's very important as well. So AI is a very hot topic, particularly in copyright protection. And frankly, the law has not settled on that right now. There are a lot of legal cases that are occurring right this moment that are beginning to really decide. And so we don't know because the law hasn't really settled. But that is going to be determined in the next couple years. Right now, the Copyright Office, along with the Trademark Office and Patent Office, have stayed true to a human must invent, must create in order for it to be protectable. So right now, AI-generated works are not protected under federal copyright protection because they are being created by a machine rather than a human. But that may change over the course of time, and being able to discern or decipher how much AI can be used to still be considered a human inventing. And that is all still left to the courts. We don't know that right now. But that is absolutely one of the biggest hot topics in IP right now, especially in the copyright landscape. If they're getting any picture off of the internet, someone has copyright rights to that. Because someone took that picture. So that's what you need to do. You need to find that person. And if it's just a random picture on the internet, that may not be so easy to do. But even on social media, if you see a picture that someone's posted, you need to at least reach out to that person and see if it's their picture, and if so, could you use it? And if not, then you cannot use it. And it really does. And that social media paradigm is really where we see a lot of copyright infringement assertions. People just taking other people's pictures or schematics or whatever, haven't asked for permission, and then post them. That's an infringement. Another thing that you can do to protect yourself is note any picture, any work with a copyright notice. A little circle C indicates that that work is protected. And that's another way you can prevent people from infringing your copywritten work by giving them, that public notice. For copyright, it's the circle C. And the first date that work was used is perfect public notice to let others know this is protected and you can't just take it without permission. How you lay out the menu at a restaurant, how you give the names to your dishes at a restaurant, right? Those are all creative ideas, right? That typically tie into the theme of the restaurant, how all that, yes, all that can be copywritten. Now, I will say, there's a lot of things that can be protected, but really the only thing you're concerned about protecting is things that you legitimately are concerned someone else will copy or take or steal without giving you proper either accreditation or monetization, right? So, there are a lot of things that can be copywritten. Not everything needs to be copywritten, but if you think you've got a cute hook or something that's catchy and you're concerned, that would be something that I would say you should be protecting. Anything that is related to how you do business, a specific novelty about how you do business that would affect your revenue, your market share, those are the things that need to be protected. If it's just a nice to have or a cute to have, maybe in due time when it makes sense, those are good things to protect. But as a IP attorney, you can always prioritize and strategize how you go after some of these protections to make it cost effective and make sense for your business. Next, we're going to talk about what I believe is one of the most challenging aspects of IP, and that's patent.
Last weekend, the Circle City Broadcasting Entertainment team was on hand for the Charred Truth Live Fire Barbecue Competition in Nashville. We have highlights and a look at the winners next as our industry focus looks at food sports. Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities. Last weekend, the Hard Truth Distillery hosted the first annual Charred Truth Live Fire Invitational cooking competition that's an official qualifying event leading up to the World Food Championships, part of the growing industry of food sports.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, Industry Focus.
Well, I'm Mike McLeod. I'm the founder of the World Food Championships. This is going to be one of our most unique events of the year. It's a live fire qualifier. You don't see a whole lot of these out there, and When Hard Truth approached us about things they could do to couple whiskey with barbecue, we thought a live fire extravaganza would be the perfect way to introduce ourselves and Hard Truth into the food sport arena in Indiana. So there's 7 world-class teams here, but every year for the World Food Championships, you have to earn your way in. You have to win a golden ticket. So these 7 teams are trying to earn enough people's choice votes and scores, high scores from the judges, that they can get their golden ticket and go back to Indianapolis in October. So live fire is one of our 10 categories at the World Food Championships. There's 9 others, everything from sandwich to seafood, dessert, barbecue, burger, you name it. If it's good food, we have a category for it. And these teams are trying to earn their way into that live fire arena, where there will be 20 world-class champions trying to earn the $10,000 payday from that vertical in food. The unique thing about the World Food Championships is we don't discriminate against your background. You can be a home cook, you can be a professional pit master, you can be a professional chef. Everyone, though, is passionate about cooking food. So what we do is create qualifiers throughout the world that allow those different individuals, whether they're home cooks or professional chefs, to earn their way into the event. They have to do it fairly and squarely. We use the EAT methodology across all platforms that stands for execution, appearance, and taste. And we use certified judges to make sure that the dishes are fantastic. So once they win that golden ticket and get to go to the World Food Championships, they'll spend 4 days in a serious, hot, heated kitchen arena trying to prove that they're the best of the best when it comes to that particular food vertical. I'm not a chef, I'm a marketing guy. I basically stumbled into barbecue about 20 years ago and helped a lot of barbecue teams get on the map. And for me, the love that I have for what we call food sport now comes from the fact that food is a language. And I think it's a love language actually. And when people are serving you, they're giving a piece of themselves to you, their creativity, their passion, their energy, their hopes, their dreams, whatever it is in our arena. And it's just hard not to catch the bug, right? It's very contagious when you see someone who's passionate about what they do. And as a result, I'm passionate about food sport, passionate about the World Food Championships, passionate about qualifiers like the Hard Truth qualifier here today.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, whenever I got a chance to meet some of these competitors and really work with World Food Championships in this live fire event, it really became clear to me that the synergies between what we harness to make whiskey and what these talented folks do to make this barbecue, it's very similar. We're both harnessing fire, we're using wood, we're working with farmers, and then we're using as minimal of intervention to just let those ingredients shine the best. So this is our Sweet Mash Rye whiskey, and we just released our first 6-year-old whiskey. So in the world of whiskey, when you're a new whiskey producer, getting to that 6-year mark is a huge accomplishment because it takes a lot of money and a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears to get there. So this is our 94% rye, 6% malted barley. We work with local farmers as much as we can for the grains, but everything is mashed, fermented, distilled, and aged right here on this property in Brown County, Indiana. A lot of newer brands use other people's whiskey. There's no borrowed whiskey in this, it's all ours. I was fortunate to be given the privilege to create the mash bills. So the recipes kind of came from here, but again, the execution of the whiskey comes from a lot of really talented people. But as far as tracking those 17,000 plus barrels, I have a very, very talented right-hand man named Chris Moore, who's excellent with an Excel spreadsheet and a pivot table. And so there's a lot of 3D chess involved with, how do we choose and make blends. So each of those 17,000 barrels of whiskey gets tasted at least 5 times before, from when they're made to when they go in the bottle. All that is tracked meticulously. We don't leave anything to question. So as we're creating blends, I wanna, my value proposition to you is that if you taste Hard Truth Sweet Mash whiskey today, the next bottle you open is going to be at least as good, if not better.
We congratulate the grand champion winner, Peter Armendariz, and his Texas Revolution team. And we look forward to the World Food Championships returning to Indianapolis October 16th. More great barbecue events are coming up at Hard Truth. Bourbon and Barbecue Festival, July 26th. You'll find all the information on our website. Follow the QR code to get you there. Next, this hour, we sit down with well-known media personality Tom Alvarez, a pioneering Mexican-American broadcaster in Indianapolis. He shares his personal journey as our success story. Welcome back. For about 14 years, Tom Alvarez has been a regular contributor on WISH-TV style shows. Brings with him decades of experience. His journey, his success story, will inspire you.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
After a couple years of living in Washington, I had to return back to Fort Wayne and live with my parents until I could kind of regroup and figure out what my next step was. And while I was there, I got involved with a Mexican-American organization, and I met a man named Jose Trevino, who's a very successful businessman, and he became a mentor. And one day, I was kind of discouraged about what do I do with my life? And, he said, well, do you have any dreams of what you would like to do? And I said, well, there's an idea I have. It was planted. He says, Tom, this is your lucky day. It just so happens I sit on an advisory committee for WRTV in Indianapolis. He said they're looking for a Latino on the air, not necessarily someone in the news department. And obviously you don't have that kind of experience, but there is a public affairs show, and they would like to have a Latino on the show. He said, I'm on this advisory committee, and I will alert them that that I've talked to you about this and you're interested, and we'll try to set up an interview. And it was a remarkable experience because, it was a half hour, and he didn't know a whole lot about me, but I remember him being just really kind and generous and just really quite interested. So I think obviously we really hit it on. He said, well, you know what? Why don't we just send you down to the studio and you can audition? So I went down to the studio. I mean, this has all happened very quickly. I've never been on television in that capacity. When I was younger, I was a Boy Scout. My first TV experience was I was on the Bozo Show at WKJG in Fort Wayne when I was 9 years old. I just never forgot looking at myself on the monitor and thinking, I was like, the glamour of it all, the mystique of it all, it's just like I was so enamored with it. And I don't know, somehow I knew that I wanted that someday. I went back to Fort Wayne, and within a week they called me. We would like to offer you a talent position part-time. I think they paid me like $50 a show. Just like I was absolutely astounded. I'll just never forget that feeling. I just could not believe. And think about how ironic the fact that the show was called Opportunity Knocks. So remember, at this time, young people of color hadn't matriculated through broadcasting or broadcast telecommunications programs, so there wasn't a whole lot of movement, and they hadn't discovered it yet, or they weren't recruited, or they didn't feel welcome. But that was only beginning to happen, so I immediately signed up, and because I was already at the station, the capacity I was, there was no question. So they accepted me, and I was paid a stipend, and they put me to work. I learned the business by doing public affairs shows, and then I started getting assigned to doing specials, like half-hour documentary format. And so that they started assigning me to do programming related to the Black community and to the Latino community. And I produced the very first documentary about Madam C.J. Walker. So I thought, doing the community stuff that I was doing, I had insights that at that time no one had. No one, absolutely no one had. By the time I left the station, I had a pretty rich, broad experience. But I knew that I could only go so far, and I really wasn't interested in being an executive. I wanted to be a creative. I just decided that I wanted to branch out and broaden my skills and broaden my, I always had, my first love was the arts and theater. I've reinvented myself quite a few times. I feel like I've come full circle from that little Boy Cub Scout at WKGG. I'm now associated with Circle City Broadcasting and Channel 8. I've been, thanks to you, I have been a contributor, performing arts contributor on Lifestyle Live for, it'll be 12 years. Those of us who are in broadcasting, the goal is perfection, is not to make it look effortless, but at the same time, you reach the masses of people that you reach. It's powerful, powerful, powerful. And I'm reminded of it all the time from my colleagues. When I left Channel 6, people could not believe that I would walk away from television. And that reminded me that how fortunate I was. Many wanted, but few are chosen. I'm 77, I have no desire or thoughts of retiring. This gives me something to focus on that distracts me. I don't want to be defined by my age or my physical condition. I just want to work and I want to contribute. And I believe, I like to think that I've been able to accomplish those goals.
There's much more to Tom's conversation, so we're putting it all on our BE&O podcast as our extended conversation, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Our show airs every Sunday, over the air on WISH-TV and online at WISH-TV.com, and always free. We also post each of our segments and our past episodes on our website as well. Thank you for spending this hour with us. Join us next week for more business equity and opportunities. Till then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, equity, and opportunities made possible by Fifth Third Bank, Indiana Black Expo, Gemco, Indy Biz Pass, Bose McKinney & Evans, Eskenazi Health, and Lilly, a medicine company.